PushGapRadio.com, Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth.
You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
So, hey, boo. I just had a thought. One of the reasons white people hate black people is because we cannot tolerate black joy. We cannot tolerate black intelligence. We cannot tolerate black beauty. We cannot tolerate black confidence. We cannot tolerate black camaraderie. We cannot tolerate anything that frees a black person. There's a level of racism that I think hits differently for black people than it does for Asian people or Hispanic people or Middle Eastern people or Native Americans even. Because again, we don't like black people to be educated. We don't like them to be successful. We don't want black judges. We don't want anything for black people that doesn't directly affect and entertain us. So we can have a black nanny. We can have a black house cleaner. We can have a black teacher. We can have a black coach. We can have black players, but only for the specific things that we feel comfortable with.
When they came outside, think about it, on a hot summer day, and you putting these people to work, hundreds of people, you put them to this
niggas getting strong as a motherfucker.
And you come outside and these niggas is singing songs. Yes. And got spirituals.
We resilient.
At that moment, they knew, like, we have to keep these people down because they've literally turned nothing into something. They're able to survive this, which we were not supposed to be able to survive it. We were supposed to work till death and be done. So I think when they did come downstairs out of Master's house and seeing how he was like, nah, we're gonna band together and still figure this out. That's when it was like, our mission from this point forward is to make sure that we keep these people down.
PushGapRadio.com, bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.
PushGapRadio.com in Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome back to another edition of Rubber Buggy Baby Boomer Radio on the bangingest thing on your urban internet radio dial. Today we're getting into on why do white folk hate black folks. They go all around the world and smash up everything. They loot what other people have built, even steal their ideals. You know how they've done us. And then they sit on top of the mountain of shit they stole and tell you that they got it on their own merit. They tell this to their children and grandchildren.
Yes. Why do they try to take our stuff? We don't try to take nothing. We didn't try to take Elvis. We didn't try to take Joan of Arc. We didn't try to take Helen of Troy. We don't mess with they shit. We do not fuck with they shit. Do we fuck with they shit? Come on, be real. We don't try to take they shit. They always trying to take our shit and recycle it and say it's theirs. American Idol is so English, it's so brilliant. American Idol. American Idol is the Apollo with white judges. Keep this shit real. But always trying to take our stuff. Ain't that a trip? We just loved us some Tina Turner, remember? They took her. Remember Lionel Richie? We loved him. They took him.
These folk always talk about the great things that they've created, never the bad. We created this, we created that. What about slavery? Well, I didn't have anything to do with that. What about killing the Indians? Well, I didn't have anything to do with that. They cheated, lied, and stole their way to the top. And then tell their people that they have everything and everyone else in the world has nothing. And the people they're stealing from, they actually have civilizations. They just pillage and plunder. Even the way you've done black people. We have a gentle, kind spirit. You say we're the most violent, but we learned it from some of the best on the planet, white folks. Look at black folk. Can you think of a people who were more held back, more sabotaged than black folk? You took everything from us. We started at less than zero, though we were regarded and treated as subhuman. Couldn't read or write, but we come from a people of accomplishment mind. You know that. We build something out of nothing. Now, you know, some people always ask why black folk don't have anything. That's because you don't know our history. But here's Life in the Ash Lane to explain to you why we as black folk don't have anything. We built it. It was better than theirs. And the jealousy set in. Here's Ash in the Fast Lane to break it down. Roll tape.
White people blew them up. White people blew them up, destroyed them, flooded them in some kind of way. Why aren't there any successful and prosperous black countries, states, cities? Because white people blew it up. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm going to start with the most well-known. Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Greenwood, was a fully functional, self-sufficient black community. They had an economy that took a full calendar year before any of their black dollars left out of their community because they supported their own and they were self-sufficient. Banks, churches, schools, any kind of business, it was there. And then white people got upset and a white mob came and slaughtered hundreds of black residents. They still don't even know how many people because they buried everybody in a mass grave. And they destroyed so much property because they literally took planes and dropped firebombs on the city. Insurance companies changed their policies so they wouldn't have to pay out on the homeowners' policies and the business policies so people couldn't rebuild. And for those that were resilient and determined to rebuild in their city, they came and ran a highway straight through it. Yeah, we call it Black Wall Street. Now, this one, to me, really takes the cake. Lake Lanier has had so many unexplained drownings. Lake Lanier is a reservoir that feeds the electric and the water source for an area in Georgia. Lake Lanier used to be called Oscarville. All black people. And guess what? A white mob came in and shot and unalived everybody. Ran them out of the city. Took years, but they finally cleared everybody out. And then they flooded the area. And now you have Lake Lanier. Rosewood was a movie that a lot of us black people watched. Some of us didn't know that it was based off of a true story. See, a white woman accused a black man of assaulting her and sent a white mob into a rage. And they slaughtered so many people in this all black city or town. Cleared it. Now it's a memorial area in Florida. Yeah, they were black and thriving. And this is one that you probably will not believe. Your favorite New York City park, Central Park, beautiful, huh? Underneath Central Park is hundreds of black bodies called Seneca Village. It was a all black community that housed some of the free slaves. That's where they migrated to. They were minding their business, and because they wanted the land in the area, they killed them people and built a park on top of it with no recognition of the bodies and the history that lies underneath. So before you say, why isn't there any black cities, states, counties, whatever, how many more times you want us to build? How many more times do you want us to put our money, effort, time into these spaces for them to be blown up, flooded, or demolished? How many? And you are absolutely correct. There isn't a race problem. There is a problem race. And it's the racist white people.
Now, these are the same people that wiped out the Native Americans. The same people who treated my people as subhuman. The same people that wiped out The Japanese in a matter of seconds with an atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Same people who dropped napalm on civilian villages in Vietnam. But again, when we bring up race, we're race baiters. Because you won't listen. Remember when Minister Farrakhan was on Donahue? And them folk just didn't want to listen. Here's someone who could explain it better than I, Ari Spears. I'm going to let him break it down. And do you notice that all of their movies are murder, death, kill? These people are monsters, man. I'm not trying to race bait. I'm just doing what most black folk have done, is bring the truth to light. But again, you don't want to hear it. Everything in your movies is monsters. Freddy Krueger and the Jeffrey Dahmers. And yeah, what race was Freddy Krueger and Jason and Saw? I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm gonna let these folk break it down. Roll tape.
And it's like, this is why this race thing in America, it ain't going nowhere. Because in order for it to be solved, white people have to be willing to listen and stop defending themselves and stop feeling threatened when truth is brought up. And this is why black people love A. Jane Elliott, because she's one of the white people who will say to white people, knock it the fuck off and listen. White people don't want to listen to black people. They don't want to hear it. And again, if you think I'm bullshitting, YouTube Farrakhan on Donahue. That is some of the greatest television when it comes to race. White people don't want to hear it. And there's this one moment where this old white lady says to Farrakhan, I think what scares us is we hear violence. And Farrakhan goes, isn't it funny how you feel and hear violence when black people have been the victims of violence for so long? What you are afraid of is that if we come into power, we will do to you what your ancestors and forefathers did to us. And that is not the mind of black people. He didn't even get all that out. They cut to the old white woman doing this. He was halfway through what he was saying, and she dismissed it like this. And it's like, no, you old bitch. Don't do this. Listen.
Let me ask you a question about serial killers. What race are the majority of serial killers?
I don't know the statistics on that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is Saul? I see you like Saul. What race was Saul?
White.
What race was Freddy Krueger? What race was Jason?
Talking about fiction.
I know, because even in the movies, you're the monster. I mean, goddamn, you educate the children with monsters. The Cookie Monster, Elmo, right? That's a monster. Everything that you do, you teach people with monsters because you are monsters. That's right. That's what you are, naturally in your spirit.
Born for just having a fucking skin color? How does that fit?
Because of the content of your character. Right. That's who you are. You're evil. You understand why Saul does what he does. You understand Jason's pain. You understand Freddy Krueger's pain. You know why? Because you think just like him. You have the same lust. You have the same lust as Jeffrey Dahmer. It's the same exact spirit in you. And guess what?
Here's black billionaire Byron Allen to explain to you how these folk kill us before they even start to kill us in the street. Roll tape.
They're killing us in the schoolroom by making sure we don't get a proper education. They're killing us in the courtroom by making sure we do not have equal justice. They're killing us in the boardroom by making sure we don't have real economic inclusion, inhumane, and at the end of the day, all about money. The whole thing about money. It's never been about black. It's never been about white. It's been about green. It's been about, we're going to bring you here. We're going to enslave you, and you're going to help us build the greatest wealth on planet Earth. And after we built this wealth and end slavery against the wishes of many, we're going to start the genocide. The first order of business when slavery ended, they actually went to Frederick Douglass and said, here's a bunch of money, convince black people to go back to Africa. How convenient. After building this enormous, phenomenal financial economy. And then when we did not accept that offer, that's when the genocide kicked in. That was, when we were slaves, they looked at us as assets. We were assets. We built their wealth. As Black Americans, you have to understand where the war is.
Now, you know they took hip-hop and destroyed it. Used it as a weapon against us, if you pay attention. Rap music started out as dance music. Then it became social consciousness music. Remember as we rolled into KRS-One, Tribe Called Quest, Tupac, and then they changed it to the bullshit. If you ain't talking about bitches and hoes and killing your fellow brother, then you ain't gonna make it on top. It was used against us. Everyone wants to talk about how black folk are today. No one ever wants to discuss how we got here. Roll tape.
Hip-hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot elude that, let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? This system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what was motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out.
Now, why don't we have health care? Again, everything is racial. The judicial system, everything. I have one young lady in here who's going to explain that she works at a healthcare facility. And no matter how much dementia these folks got, when you walk in the room, they can still remember that your ass is a nigga. Yeah, we don't have health care because, again, it's woven into racism. White folk don't realize it affects you, too. You're just the last ones to get hit. Roll tape.
Check this out.
White people, watch this video, and I'll be right back.
He published a book called Race Tendencies and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America. When Teddy Roosevelt, 1912, proposed a national health care system, people said no because black people will get it. When Franklin Roosevelt proposed a national health care system, it was the same thing. We don't want black people to get it. When Truman tried it in 1947, same thing. Don't want black people to get it. We have to figure out a way to keep black people from using Medicare. And the way that they came up with was to have a 20% hole, a gap in Medicare, so that you had to pay 20% of your doctor's bill and your hospital bill, and that would discourage poor black people from showing up at the hospitals. Nearly 100% of the reason why the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't define healthcare as a right is because of racism. He published a book called Race Tendencies and Traits of the American Negro.
I've worked in the hospital virtually my entire professional career. When white people have strokes, they're missing half their brain. When they're in dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever, when they're having severe mental health crises, it doesn't matter what type of health issue they're going through. They could be on their deathbed. Guess what they're going to remember? They'll forget everything else. Their pain will trump everything else. The second they see a black person walk into their room to care for them, immediate racism. Immediate hard R's are coming out. Immediate belligerent behavior towards that black person is coming out, or towards whatever non-white person is coming out. Racism is pre-installed malware, and until you guys uninstall it, it's deep in your marrow. It's deep in our marrow.
How many times do I have to say this? Racism is a detriment to you white folks, poor white folks especially. Because of racism, you poor white folks can't even get good health care, because they thought if they could deny health care to black people that we would have been eradicated a long time ago. But hey, we still here, and they have not changed the rules. How crazy is that? We keep telling you, BIPOC keep telling you, black people keep telling you, it is not us that makes your life suck. It is those racist politicians and their racist legislation that they think that's going to harm us, but harms you at the same time. And they don't care if it harms you. They don't give a shit. And then you continue to vote against your own interests. All because a bunch of rich white people told y'all to hate black people because black people are doing stuff to you as a whole. And we're not, because we don't control shit. We don't control.
Now, here's a young lady, Tatiana Speaks, because this coon ass nigga on here talking about, well, what do y'all want white folk to do? Leave us the hell alone. I saw one time where they said if there are 2 or more black people together, one of them folk coming over. I was at work one day. We had just got off. We drove charter buses. 6, 7 of us, the brothers, standing over there talking. Our boss walked out. She was several feet away at the front door. We were in the parking lot. And I told them, hey, she's going to come over here. They're like, what do you mean? Hey, she's going to come over here. It's too many niggas congregating for a white person to just walk by, fam. And came over, she did. And they said, well, damn, how did you know that? Because, nigga, it's been that way since the slave days. It just is what it is. But this young lady, Tatiana Speaks, breaks it down extremely well on what it is we would like for you to do. Roll tape.
What do you all want white people to do? Yes. You're telling them you hate them, you don't like them, they're racist. So what do you want them to do?
We want them to go in the corner and leave us the fuck alone. We want them to stop talking to us, stop looking at us, stop eating us, stop abusing us, stop creating systems that make it harder for black people, stop requiring us to not be black to be accepted, stop requiring black women to disown black men, stop abusing children, stop injecting us with diseases. We want white people to be appropriate people, and they cannot be that. We want white people to leave us the fuck alone. We want them to go in their own world and leave us alone. Every time black people try to do our own thing, here come a white person. You could be sitting in your car listening to music. Here come a white person. You could be eating at a restaurant, minding your business, laughing with your friends. Here come a white person. They're always bothering us. We want them to leave us alone. There has been a new trend from a gay man within the community. Quiet on the creek. Here come white people. We want them to stop looking at us. We want them to stop being obsessed with us. We want to be left the fuck alone. That's what we want. Why is that so hard? Y'all, white people don't like us. Y'all say how loud we are. Y'all say how ghetto we are. Y'all say, oh my God, y'all always wear bonnets outside in public, but now your children are doing it. Your girls want to date our men. Your sons want to be us. It's mentally disturbing. We want to be left alone by white people. We don't want to be eaten. We don't want to be shot in the back. We don't want to be chased. We don't want to be oogled and googled upon. We don't want to be kidnapped. We don't want to be we don't want to be around them. That's what we want. We want separation. Black people have been asking to be left alone, and then there's coon black men like you. Oh, what do y'all want? Because you want to be around them. So go be around them. We don't want to live in the same world. We want separation.
So yeah, that's it. That's why these folk hate us. You hate us because you ain't us. Everything we do, you steal from us, man. It's ghetto when we do it, but then when you take it over, all of a sudden it's the newest fashion trend. You know, they gonna cut them folks' food stamps in November. White folk gonna crash out. They want to act like we're the one getting all the benefits when it's them. Everything that's done in America, they start with black folk, and white folk, you just the last to get hit. The only person don't know it is you, the cousin of racism. It's classism. Trump takes a dump on a gold toilet. Do you think he gives a damn about your ass? Living in a trailer park. Thank you for logging on to the bangingest thing on your urban internet radio dial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Drop in the comments what you think. Tell us what kind of incidents you've run into with dealing with these folks. Never average, never mediocre, online, on point, and on the freaking money. Pray until something happens. God always provides. At pushgapradios.com, the power is in the name. Don't forget to drop a like and a comment, and we will see you on the next show. pushgapradios.com, Dallas, baby, and we're out.
PushGapRadio.com, bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.